As the night starts to fall and get going, you see that a lot of people turn out to be at the chimes to do different things. Everyone kind of divides into their little pockets, and you see that there's some people that are very much focused in doing games of dice and stuff, and there's a couple people playing cards, and there's a couple people doing all kinds of little things.
Let's introduce them to the cup
game.
As the night starts to get going, there starts to be different miscellaneous.
Amulet's gonna set up in her corner of the table a little model of
that's the problem
around a little table. And she's gonna put a cup
I'm gonna assume y'all have never
Jack
been to a large city like the Second Kingdom. Can I allow me to give you a small warning about?
So, is there any? Because it's now getting towards nighttime. You guys have gotten your room.
The table is always in the cup.
Is there anything that you guys want to do?
Let me give you a small warning.
Anything you guys want to do other than just mingling with the crowd? Because mingle with the crowd and that'll be fun. But anything else as far as being quote unquote in the city that you guys want to do before nightfall?
I would like to.
Did we decide that we were going to go to the whatchamacallit, I guess, tomorrow?
Well, at this point, yeah.
Well, wherever y'all's going tomorrow, I certainly hope you're doing it later in the day, because I don't believe your friend's even going to be able to walk to your room.
Oh, he'll be fine.
They're
you don't know me very well.
They're very small cups. So
yes, they're very small cups
you go over
right
and play,
now.
Start throwing dice?
I would suggest...
That's not a streetwise check, is it?
I'm not going to let you keep the checks that you keep rolling, so...
I would suggest
it's going to be,
play the cards.
Well, but it's like, that's not even the skill.
No, it's not.
I would suggest you play
now,
the cards.
If you're gathering information while you're playing games and that sort of stuff, then it would be the streetwise, but it's just...
I wanna go fishing for quests.
Okay. So, are you gonna go play? There's a game of dice.
Yeah,
there's a game of cards. There's a couple people gathered around another bar.
There's a game called Fishing for Quests. Okay.
Dice. That's
okay.
That's not even a question.
So so that's what Jack is doing. Does anyone else have something they want to do? This is the best time of night for getting a good bit of lining in your pocket if you're going to be actually performing anything.
Yeah, I actually asked her if she knows any new songs, and from the boot that doesn't have a dagger, I pull a flute.
He points to him. He plays drums.
Do Chunk
You're a musician? Yeah, my other boot.
Amulet's gonna just hover around awkwardly.
Yes.
That does not seem very hygienic.
You play it with your mouth.
Well, the mouthpiece ain't in my fucking shoe.
Well, no, but it's very close to the floor.
By Vin is actually going to try to pull
hold on, do you want to see how well how this works? I take my flute, I hold the end that doesn't have the mouthpiece, and I stick it in my alcohol and switch it around.
What she used to do
now
before,
we're good.
But it's not just,
Well, eventually, at some point, while in the city, I would go get the shield that I got from Indra and change the symbol on it so that it is no longer the
symbol of Osman.
I'm certainly going to try and draw the drummer and her into songs.
You guys take a moment. So Jack goes over to start and...
What?
I know, I heard.
Okay.
I did hear.
What did you do?
I'm paying attention.
Alright.
Wait, what did you do?
For those listening along in the podcast, Vin believes that his apprentice, the apprentice being Iris, needs a lot more lessons on human interactions, but he does not know as much about human interactions, so his method of getting her to gather information can occasionally be a bit awkward.
Yes.
Wait, as long as her shirt is still on?
Right. We mean being accused of pimping a bit?
Well, no,
a little bit of pimping.
This is today's activities. Go talk to those people about sex.
So,
yeah. Wait, time out, stop. Are we still at the table when he says that? Because
no,
I will certainly have an opinion.
That's kind of a general example.
Okay, so you go over and start seeing, there's several merchants and stuff playing dice around, and they welcome you to the table and start putting down money.
How many streetwise checks do you want me to make?
Just so you know, I did caution him against getting into debt.
Right. So it's going to be basically one check for the information gathered at the game, but there might be other things going on depending on things.
All that Huey would have warned Jack was that's your money.
On the one hand,
drums?
If you go over that,
drums. And on the other hand, there's Jack playing games, and that's always fun somewhere.
Why are you thinking I'm going to run out?
So
no, I'm not saying you're going to run out. I'm not going to go ahead and give you any
that means if I get extra, I don't have to share.
Exactly.
Okay. So start playing the game. They explain they have dozens of different dice games. You notice that several of the people around the table are people that know each other very well. So a table of 7 players, maybe 4 of them are good friends, and they know off the top of their head games of 1 dice, 2 dice, 3 dice. You know, games that have 1 throw or 5 throws or a whole bunch of different complicated rules. And they kind of talk and go off of each other fairly well. And all of the betting tends to be very, very small. Basically, they're betting coppers at the table. So they start to toss you dice, and you start feeling a little.
If friends are having a friendly game, they don't bet a lot of money so that they stay friends.
Right. As you're kind of going and starting to throw dice, you feel kind of woozy, and you're not really sure if it's just the alcohol that's taking effect or what's going on.
Oh dear.
And then while you're sitting there, one of the twins gives you the half of a tray that you had left to go, as though the rattle of dice had caught your attention, and brings it over to you to sit next to you. And you start throwing dice away, and they start saying the games. And as you're throwing the dice, you get sort of into an almost zen state feeling. And they hand you a set of dice and say, "Oh, this is a game of 3 throws." And they start explaining some of the rules, and you take the dice. And then as you throw the dice, as soon as they leave your hand, you feel like you know exactly what it's going to end up. You know that throw that just left your hand is a winning throw. And they haven't finished explaining the rules yet. The lands, 2 crowns, 2 skulls. They're, wow, yeah, that's the best throw if no one can match it. And win.
Oh,
as it keeps going, every time you throw the dice, nothing but wins. After about 10 minutes of them watching you, the 4 friends are starting to talk amongst themselves. And one of the newcomers to this little group.
Just to clarify, he's throwing their dice.
He's throwing their dice.
Okay.
One of the little newcomers to the group kind of grumbles a bit. He pulls out his own dice cup and then puts it in the center of the table. Says, "Oh, if I'm putting more of my own money into this, I'm not losing to him all night," and hands you his dice cup. And again, you guys are all throwing. The way the typical games work is you throw a set of dice, and then that sets
everybody gets a chance to beat it.
And everyone gets a chance to beat it, and then they can raise stakes or low down, depending on how many throws. It makes it a more complicated game or a less complicated game. And as they start going, you notice that the 4 friends are having a blast losing money to you. It's all coppers. It's very, very low money. And you can see that the 4 friends are very much...
Are they wearing house symbols?
Yes. One of them is actually wearing the shovel, and the other 3 are wearing the W's. So you notice that they are having a blast losing money to you, watching you just throw these perfect throws. But one of the 2 newcomers is getting more and more upset, and then he notices that you're throwing his dice just as well as you were throwing the other dice. Every throw is a win. And then he kind of takes his dice back from you and stomps away from the table, and the 4 friends laugh.
Was he wearing a house symbol?
The guy that stomped away from the table? Yes. He is wearing a crescent and a upside down crescent and a star underneath.
Tain't nothing personal.
Can I make a throw to...
It doesn't... His house is fairly major. You wouldn't need to know.
Okay.
The shovel is House Codenavala. The W is House Whirlwind.
Yeah.
And the crescent and the star is House Teresian. Codenavala is a small house that is known for having a lot of influence in the city. It's the Gravediggers Guild, basically. The man who... You know that the man who leads House Codenavala, his name is Cad.
I think.
And he is...
You should think...
He's a first chancellor of the house, so he's basically the highest ranking person. He's the leader of the house. And he says that if there's any person of Margrave status, which is about a middling level
I
noble...
haven't seen you swing.
If any of the middling level nobles are above die, he personally digs every noble's grave.
The drums.
Okay.
That's neat.
Oh, are you playing with us?
I am going to teach...
Toy how to play
Toy.
So yes, you're playing with us, because there's no way you're getting out of
Play
this.
the drums, right. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if you were teaching how to play. So as you start going, after a while...
the dice confuse me. Too many rules.
The 4
Cards
friends...
sound like them or your speed.
Start to talk to other people who are kind of wandering around doing different things. And
that is my game.
They, working together, coax 4 other people into taking their spots, and they start placing bets on you rather than taking bets on themselves. And there quickly becomes a rotating seat of about 4 players, and then a little bit of a crowd gathers around to watch the perfect throws. After about 10 minutes, and you guys are playing your songs, doing your stuff, you guys have 2 competing crowds now. You have the people who are there to listen to the music.
Can we
people
actually
there
see?
To watch the throws.
Are we high enough up that we can actually see him making his throws?
Or
is he too far away?
It'll be difficult.
We know it's him, but we don't know.
Yeah, you know it's him, but you could see the reactions to people at the table, but you basically couldn't see enough over people's heads to be able to see the table itself. So you're the stands that are about this tall as tables.
Yeah,
so you can see the reaction stuff, and you see after a little while, the guy who got pissed off and gave you his dice and then took them and stomped off, he comes back, and behind him is one of the guards. Who is obviously wearing the guard colors, but one of the things that makes him stick out like a sore thumb is he has 2 very large black wings. He's obviously a Raven. And you can see that he's sort of...
Like when it's like Raven type?
Yeah, they look like a Raven's wings.
Oh god, I really hope you're not using magic. Can I try and see if he's using magic to mess with
you? Arcane check.
Good, because...
Well, if he is, he doesn't know about it. It doesn't usually...
I'm 3 sheets to the wind. What do you mean accusing me of using magic?
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be doing anything, just throwing perfect throws.
Okay, I just want to make sure because, you know...
As you guys start to
I don't
play
think
and do well,
his way out of that.
You notice that you've annoyed enough people for your perfect throws to not have people continue to take the chairs against you. And one of the guys who's sitting at the table takes a step forward and says, you know, there's a whole city, there's a whole night of stuff to go on here. they throw for some higher stakes down in the nobles' quarters. We'll back you with money. And they kind of take out a couple chips and they put them down. The guy who's speaking sets forth about 30 gold worth of Durham chips and says, "This is just on us."
Oh God.
He says,
But the funny thing is, you probably come to Huey, and if she's convinced enough, she might give you more
Well,
money,
no,
too.
she doesn't need to make
I know,
They are.
He can also be making money.
God, this is a bad idea.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
Excellent! This will be great! What could possibly go wrong?
I'm going to try and catch one of the barmaids, because I'm sure they've walked back up by there and asked what's going on over there, since, you know...
Looks like they're sent.
While you guys are having, they basically explain that, you know, one of the newcomers to town is just he rolls perfectly every time, like no one can beat him. And you can see that, you know, there's the person you stopped was a Talikma, and a definite note of appreciation of saying just like, that's unbelievable. Like, it's retelling a story that's going to spread and become a great tale.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to stumble over. No.
Sounds like things done got a bit quiet over there. What's going on?
You don't understand. I'm throwing dice and winning games that I don't know how to play. I ain't learned the rules yet and I'm winning.
So the four friends kind of gather around you and say, let's keep this party going.
And these blokes, they have a giant pile of money that we're going to go down and I'm going to keep throwing dice and we're going to make it a gianter pile of money. And then I'm going to drink everything in this inn.
Jack.
Aye.
Hold on just a moment. Can I...
So,
you
over the course of about the 30 minutes that you've been playing, you've gotten maybe 2 gold. Because, I mean, there's very low stakes. But
that's a
Jack is 3 sheets to the wind.
I'm assuming,
That's a giant
that you're
pile of
the
money.
leader of this party, and you may want to keep an eye on him.
If it's in coppers, yes it is.
So the 4 of them are like, let's hit him! And kind of grab hold of you. You know, one person grabs each one of your arms, and they all
Fort!
They start lashing
I am trailing behind
to
that,
victory.
not letting him out of my because
and I'm sticking with her.
So a small trail.
Let's go. We're heading to another bar.
Okay.
Bring the drums.
Okay.
So is everyone heading along to follow Jack?
For Vin and
I am certainly following Jack because I'm a little concerned with this.
Anywhere?
Yeah, Iris has been mingling to the crowd. Is Iris coming with? And are you coming with, or?
I think.
I take that little one there should not be left alone with
I
that
may
one.
want to verify the authorities. You said somebody was it that there was a Rarin coming in?
You guys are on. Just to give you guys a good description of what's going on. Basically, the inn is fairly large. It's got a lot of stories, but the area in front of it is probably 50 yards by 100 yards. It's a broad stone patio with a little stone wall that leads off to the next tier. That's full of wooden and stone tables with tons and tons of chairs around. if they filled this area with tables, there's probably enough seating for close to 1,000 people here. So this area is very, very large. And everyone was kind of clumped up in
advance for Jack being Jack.
So, and you guys are all outside.
No, don't worry. Luke has got his own little...
Huey's whole idea about this is everything comes in a cycle. And what's going to happen at the end of the cycle is the bad part for Jack. So Huey's going to be trying to be there.
Which is
actually why Luke is following him, because, you know...
Okay, so they start to take you up to the street, and you guys notice the 4 friends that were playing at the table are the ones leading Jack away. But the one noble who had left it, or not noble, the merchant who had left the table and came back with the rarin, he's left by this point. However, the rarin is still following along. And he looks like he's been walking along with a little smirk on his face as he's been following along and paying attention.
The rarin?
Yeah. And you can tell that the rarin is definitely, he's staying close enough that Jack is still in range.
Yeah.
Rarin's sight, again, works as an aura around him, so he's keeping Jack in range, kind of obviously.
Yeah.
Huey will actually start to drop back because she wants to talk to him.
The rarin is wearing one of the more official guards' tabards. And his symbol is very, very obfuscated. Like, you can basically not tell what it is, but you can also see, now that you're closer to him, that it is very recently changed. So it used to be a symbol there, and then very recently it's been stitched over.
Okay.
So, you head down to the nobles' quarters.
And I drank all of my money, and I slept out in the rain.
So you guys make a little parade.
Oh, what the hell? I'd join in. Flute.
Okay,
we may as well turn it into a party.
She just asks him.
Oh.
She says,
we should come to cities more often.
Because he's
That's what I'm saying all the time.
Lucky.
He goes,
oh, we're chopping off into the jungle and giant ants and giant fucking snakes.
He's not using magic.
Works everywhere.
That was why I was brought along. I can see everything he's doing, and
it's all legal.
Nothing is unusual other than his luck. And he's kind of following along, just keeping in range. You guys head your way down the drag, and the nobles easily lead you over to where you're going.
I'm definitely going to catch up and lean over to talk to him.
He goes, it was a pleasure to meet you,
Talk must be on
my name is Aaron.
Hi, tonight.
He always is.
The thing about Aaron is that you notice is different now that you're closer to him. He has the tabard and he has the basic uniform of the guards, but he's not wearing any armor and he doesn't have a weapon that you can recognize.
How many fingers am I
holding
out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Holding up 2.
That makes more sense.
I'm sure it certainly does.
So, my name is
Gentlemen, how about you lead on and I keep a hold of Jack?
Sorry.
She's like, okay, well, I would appreciate it if you'd help me keep a watch for my friend. I mean, are you one of the guards here?
Because Kaita don't care one way or the other.
No, I am, although I don't have a house at the moment.
I'm Jack and Kate.
I
thought you were Jack Smith.
I killed a fire elemental with fire once.
I can have a good bit of...
Well, good for you.
I have a good bit of sway with the guards if I need to.
I done found land shark.
I just want to make sure that no one gets upset and breaks the peace.
You know, y'all are very, very interested.
Taking him into the noble
quarter.
I know.
Are they known as troublemakers?
Just be well aware
he
that
goes,
you can't go to debtor's prison.
I don't know that many people specifically. I don't spend very much time in the city.
And then I'm just going to fall back.
You can't go to jail for losing a game.
I don't know them.
Yes, you can go to jail for losing in a game.
You don't understand how much money we have.
I was a bodyguard.
Of course, if you can pay back your debt.
One of the nobles' houses away from the city.
The nobles' quarter. This is not coppers and
This is Irish tugging on.
This is all
didn't you see me giant plate of money?
Yes, I saw you 2 dollars worth of copper.
It was pretty and shiny.
Currently, does one normally switch between houses? And also, can one start their own house or take over a house?
I'm so glad I'm over there.
System work?
So as you're walking, he basically says, I'll summarize the walk to get to the tavern is, he doesn't really know that much about the house system, but what he does know is that in order for you to start your own house, the ruling council basically has to acknowledge your house exists. And then it is not uncommon for people to be brought into a house or for people to be gotten rid of from a house, but it is very uncommon for people to switch houses. Typically, if you are in a house, you can't really make it out of that house until the house gets dissolved.
And he is between houses.
Or you do like a certain someone in your party, and you just
he explains that he is between houses because his house has been recently dissolved.
Recently dissolved. Is it the same house that?
Yes, he does say that his house was Kulenta, which has been recently broken.
You know, why did it get me a set of magical bungalows?
There was no first chancellor.
For that expanded full drum set.
There was a first chancellor. I was actually his bodyguard, but he's.
I can't do flute. My lips don't work that way.
Not in control of his house anymore.
I'll see
so they voted to remove
sick?
his house. Yes, he's been ill for quite some time.
Flaming dagger.
If you want, I can maybe. I'm a healer. I can maybe talk to him.
I need to look up a picture of him.
I appreciate it. We've paid quite a bit for healers over the past many years, but nothing has seemed to help his condition. He headed off to hunt in the marsh and returned broken.
Which marsh?
I was gonna say, yeah, you're up there.
Sorry. I'm playing bongos.
Yeah, she had asked which marsh.
He says
the Narcan? Because I mean, she's thinking marsh south.
No. He says no.
Careful.
He went to hunt
my
for the noble sport. He wanted to
be careful if you get into
take down the biggest of the Bogarsh-touched creatures as he could.
You find that you never lose some fortune faster.
As what happens many times, he did not return the same.
Bogarsh.
So you guys, I know you guys were doing your own thing, and I do appreciate it because it definitely adds up, especially for the podcast. But
I gleaned the information.
The information that he was the bodyguard of the old head of House of Kulenta.
Has he? Well, you probably would. Did he claim to have seen the Bogarsh? No.
I don't know. He hasn't spoken barely at all since he returned.
Or does he pretty much go?
It's my hammer.
In the back of Huey's head, we gotta find a Bogarsh! He might know where a Bogarsh is!
Bogarsh? What?
No.
I wouldn't say there'd be anything wrong with meeting him, no. He's a bit of a ways from here. He's in one of the noble estates east of the city.
Well, we're gonna have to go east anyway, because we have to head out that direction.
And basically, he'll be, why are you heading that direction?
She's like, we have to go into the marshes ourselves. Well, I'm from the Hylar, so...
Yes, even with the house gone, he still has enough money to have guests, and although he doesn't show obvious signs of enjoying company, I think somewhere in his mind he does not like to be alone.
Well, if he is well enough for maybe us to speak to, we would like, I would greatly like to speak with him about his experience or something about the marsh. He was thinking he's an invalid,
so... basically, about this time, you guys make it to the tavern that the four nobles were looking for. And the nobles come inside, and one of the nobles kind of turns towards you. He's actually the one that's wearing the symbol for Code Navala, and says, "Wow, I appreciate everyone's interest. Can we keep it down just a little bit so we can get the game going here?" And kind of like...
No bass drum, but yes bongos.
Are you telling me, brother, that he can't play drums at me game?
Oh, he can play as many drums as he wants, but just tone it down while we get a table. So one of the nobles kind of ducks into the thing, and the other three are kind of out there talking. And then after a minute or two of you guys standing in the street, the guy from Code Navala comes back out and says, got us a game. And, well, got him a game. And they go and they sit and get inside and start sitting down. This inn is very much upscale. You can tell that there's a lot of
clientele here.
Yes, there's a very high presence of very weak magical items.
Yeah.
Basically, the music in here is produced by a small box that has a lot of different music ending from it. Yeah, you would definitely know this place.
Little brother.
Do I know which house
couldn't tell on account of being pished.
Yes. This is owned by the McCary house.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Which
is
one of the...
This is a quiet
How it basically works in the city is there are three major houses.
Yeah.
Whirlwind, which is currently in control. The Teresian house, which is one of the guy that got all kicked off was Teresian.
Mm-hmm.
And then the McCary house, which is about equal to Teresian, and they're...
I'll see if I can't.
But pick up your accent. This is terrible.
If there's a place to entertain, can't get something for my percussionist friend.
Okay. So you go over.
So you know he doesn't cause too much commotion.
Right. The innkeeper kind of notices you guys are making a lot of noise as you walk in, and comes to you and says, "Oh, if the group of nobles kind of grabs you and leads you directly towards the table, but they notice the innkeeper kind of comes in and goes, "So,
I kind
can
of
I do something for you?
to go with them.
Rooms? I'm sorry, we have our own music here, and
what we need is one of those
more of a quieter establishment.
The cherry liquor. It's what is it? What is it? Sherry something?
Oh, de Chambord.
That one. I need a big tankard of that one."
He goes, yes, very well. And he goes, and you see that he actually, everyone else has a bar in so much as they have a, flat piece of wood that's a bar that they put stuff on. They have a bar in that they have racks of bottled alcohols in the back. So he goes and mixes you up a very large drink. And you get led back to the back table where there are a lot of people who are dressed very nicely playing a game of dice. A couple of them look like they are well on their way to working that good, solid redness in their face that you've already cultivated.
Why was we going to leave this place again? There was something, and I don't remember what.
So
they said there was a bigger game.
No.
People are starting to get distracted with him. I'm going to take a few feathers out of my
something.
hat and just make them kind of go away.
Uh-huh.
So I'm slightly less gaudy looking,
right?
But still recognizable. Like, there's a couple of feathers that I always keep in my hat, but I'm not entertaining children. I don't need anything to really keep their attention. So yeah.
So
a little less on the peacock tail, and a little more on the obviously.
As you sit down at the
table,
table,
still wearing the hammer, still covered with the gaudy thing.
Yeah, that.
I expect me brother to wear his hammers proudly.
Every time.
Sitting down at the table, the game starts, and basically they start explaining the rules, start playing, and the whole inn starts to get rowdy for this inn, which is pretty calm.
Monocles dropped into tea.
Pretty calm for the other one. And you start seeing several of the
is quite the charm.
Jolly good, my
several
dear.
of the people around the table are starting to catch on to the fact that you've been brought here because you seem to be gifted with the throws of the dice. And one of the guys recommends, one of the guys at the table that was there when you first got there recommends a game that you've not played before, and one that doesn't seem to be connected to any of the games that you've played before. Like, it isn't a game you played before with a different name. It's not Three Kings are now called Three Fools. This is now something completely different. So
welcome to Baccarat.
So they start explaining the rules and tossing at dice, and you go to play, and you feel that whole tipsy feeling, and then that tipsy feeling turns from being just kind of happy tipsy to my stomach's not feeling well, and you toss the dice, and it comes up double skulls, and you see everyone at the table just go, well, he's leading, so that means he gets a second throw, and then it goes around the table, and it comes back to you, and everyone at the table beats your throw. So you place a small bit of chips in front of every person at the table.
Surprise of all surprises.
Your last throw, you see a couple of them kind of talking. Well, that means the throws, the pots continue. So now there is an individual pot in front of each person, and nothing in front of you at the moment. So they all talk a little bit, make bets. A couple of them add a piece of their pile. You go to throw again.
Still the
4 skulls. The piles get slightly bigger.
Gee, I didn't
4 rounds.
How much money is on the table at this point?
After 4 rounds of a 5-round game, you've thrown the same throw at the start of the round and at the end of the round. Start of the round throw, the worst throw.
Game.
End of the round throw is leave your money on the table and they can put more up. This last throw, as they're handing it to you, looks like around the table there's close to 300 gold sitting on the table.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's rich money for people that don't have money.
So, as you're going around, you take your last throw, go, think about it for a second, you feel that little woozy feeling go back towards the nice feeling, and then go, as the dice leave your hand, go right back into the shitter. As the dice tumble on the table, 4 skulls. Passes around the table, and everyone easily beats your marks. They bring it back. Basically, the way the dice work is each dice has on one side 2 skulls, and on one side 2 crowns, and then it's got 1 skull on 2 sides, and then 1 skull or 1 crown on 2 sides. So, you know, basically the 6 is double
2 crowns, 2 skulls. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a mix. So they're going around making the tosses, and you take that last toss and double skulls with 300 gold on the table. And they all laugh and they talk, and then the one of the guys that brought you in, the guy from Code Navala, goes, Gentlemen, remember the poor man's bet. And you see a couple of people kind of grumble. Can't. We don't play by those rules down at the wharf. And then you see a short argument break out about whether basically you're going to have to pay out to each one of them. There's 6 at the table, so 50 gold per person. And the poor man's bet, and they start talking back and forth and say,
poor man's bet is
if you
rolling so shit that instead of people pay you.
So as they talk about it, they say, well, you know,
just shoot the moon.
If they basically say, well, you know, if on the 5th throw you throw 4 skulls and there's money left on the table, you get 1 last throw to set the table straight. Because 4 skulls should mean that we go another round and you put more bet, but the 5th round's the last round. And they start talking back and forth, and they say, well, you know, we've got accumulated enough that there's no way. I mean, you're going to have to win this losing streak with rolling the dice for the entire table. So each one of the people at the table, basically there's 1 communal die, and then each person gets their own die. So there are 8 dice at the table. And you take the communal die, use your own die, roll. And then the one person takes the communal die, puts it in the middle, you go around. So they say you take the dice for every person that still has money on the table, which normally is like 3, and then you roll, and then you have to beat different marks on the table. So they are arguing that this shouldn't happen because you've got 8 dice, and no one rolls 8 dice in any of these games. It's ridiculous. So they all argue about it, and they say, well, that's the rules. Toss you towards the dice. You have a handful of these 6-sided dice. So what motion are you doing with the dice in your hands? So as you're rolling in your hand, kind of look down at them. You see, as you kind of go to count to make sure you got the right number of dice, you see like a little bit of redness around the corners of your vision, kind of like you're about to black out, but only there's redness on the corner, and you feel an incredible heat inside of your chest. As you look down on it, you see little flickers of flame from each of the dice as all of the dice turn to crowns. So now there's crowns on all sides of the dice. Double crowns in each one. So are you going to still roll?
Yep.
I'm just saying, if you're looking at this, you see that rather than this being a 6-sided,
it's 6 on every side.
It's 6 on every side. So when they leave your hands, so you gonna do it?
Jack is pissed. Like he's just like,
well, that's a sign.
Well, but the other end of this is it's like that's what it looks like every time. Even when like.
Oh well, that's what it should look like then.
Leave the hands, and you guys watching the game, even out of the corner of your vision, you see Aaron give a little start. As the dice leave your hand, you see a flicker. As the dice kind of bounce off of each other and hit in the light of the tavern, you see all of the dice turn to looking like perfectly normal dice. From your guys' perspective, you didn't see anything except for they reflected the light a little better. And you notice that all of the dice go, and 2 crowns, 2 crowns, 2 crowns, 2 crowns, 2 crowns.
8 times.
8 times. So, and you see, like, you hear the innkeeper say something, and the music box stops, and everyone around, like, looks at the table, look back at you, looks at the table.
Did Jack collapse just now?
Did I do that?
Of course
I'm gonna definitely do another.
Perfect, complete faith in you.
I don't.
Jack doesn't lose. I told you.
I just looked towards Aaron because he kind of shuddered.
I pulled a 19 on my arm.
At this point, Chunkus is the only one being loud.
So, yeah, the Chunkus is being loud. Everyone's kind of like staring at the table, and you see just all crowns on the table.
See, I told you it would look with hope. It always does.
And
that's what I did an Arcana check.
You noticed maybe for just the briefest flicker that there was something, but it wasn't his signature. It wasn't him casting it, and it didn't feel like the signature of anyone in the bar. And when he threw the dice, you see the nobles kind of like get this weird look on their face, and each one of them, they start talking amongst themselves and start pulling out money. The one guy from Code Navala is laughing so hard they can't breathe.
I just want to
Kaitak's gotta love you.
So you see basically just money getting on the table. Once the guy from Code Navala can speak again, he says, well, double crowns means double money. So
they just have to pay up 600 gold total.
Good one. Today you good.
Yeah, you did damn good, Jack.
So
that's good.
As they start arguing, start going back and forth, they passed you 600 gold, and you notice that nobody is touching the dice on the table. Like it's just sitting there in the middle of the table, 16 crowns.
Yeah. I'm certainly going to go over to the Rarin and ask him,
one of the Teresians.
That was one of the things I was like.
One of the Teresians, the three of the four guys, kind of comes up to me and he's like, "You might want to leave."
And he was everybody's ears.
Very quickly, kind of gets it, and you notice that while it was all fun and games, the demeanor of the four guys that were playing with you got very quickly worse and worse and worse as you were losing, and then it took a nosedive as soon as you won.
I'd like to buy them dice. I'd like to keep them and make a necklace. Like chunks with the teeth, only this dice.
Oh yes, the works teeth.
The Wyric's teeth.
So you see.
Did you just say the Wyric's teeth?
Yes, I have in my necklace.
You notice that
the Wyric's, or you just bought those?
Well, he bit me in the shoulder, so I decided to take his teeth. I mean, I thought it was fair.
You saw you guys saw the innkeeper come up and start having a good discussion with the one guy from Code Navala, basically saying, "It's about time for you all to leave."
Well,
very quickly, the guys grab you and start pulling you towards the door with your sack of chips.
I'm gonna offer to buy the dice since it seems like nobody was taking them up on
So
that.
they very quickly go out. You offer to buy the dice, and one of the guys sitting at the head of the table goes, they all kind of look towards one of the guys at the table, and he's like, "Well, they're my dice, so."
They're cursed. Fucking take them.
Yeah, give me a gold and take them. Get rid of those things.
Most certainly.
Take the rum, and each of them kind of get up from the table and start like fussing. You go and you collect the dice. As you sweep them towards you to kind of put them into a pouch, you see on the table burns of 16 skulls. The other side of the dice burned into the tabletop.
Nice. That was the best throw ever.
I just kind of look up and I go, "Oh, Kaitak."
I am so glad I didn't accidentally get somebody killed.
So,
you never know. That is young.
Oh, Kaitak, you
so
definitely
you're heading out,
this
and now that you're back outside into the air, you're noticing that you're not gonna be able to make this any further. You're not entirely sure that someone isn't gonna have to carry you back up the drag.
I'll take that up.
Yeah. So yeah, I just sweep the dice up, I stick them in a pocket,
Jack, let me help you.
throw a little thing to her to Kaitak going, "Oh boy."
The one guy from Code Navala takes his thing, hands it towards you, pulls out a little card, and hands it over towards you, and then notices that you're a little too drunk to take it, gives it to you and says, "If he needs anything in the city, anything at all, let me know."
Which one?
Yeah.
I keep it for you for now.
Now, they confronted him 30. Did they take back their 30 yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I
wanted to make
they're
sure
asking for
because
their 30 back. Once people were handing stuff, they did take their 30 back. And then you notice that they kind of look over to him and say, "Can we take a little bit extra of the winnings?"
I think we owed him a good 10%.
Huey takes the bag and pulls out half of it and hands it to him.
Okay, so they'll take
and Huey does that for a reason?
300 gold split between the four of them?
Yep. She hands it to them and lets them decide how it's getting divided.
They split it up pretty evenly, and you can tell that these 4 guys, have the demeanor and everything of people that have been
together and friends.
Yeah, friends since they were
born.
Yeah, skinning knees. So, and they all kind of thanks and get everyone back towards the end.
Hiwi is, when Hiwi divided it up, she was just like,
yeah. Was the Rarin still standing there, or did he go with the group when they left?
He's still behind.
I was going to say, I would have asked, Hiwi asked him while everyone was kind of standing, what was that? Because...
And he basically gives the same response that she could feel, is something changed something right there. But I don't actually think it affected the throw. I don't know what it did, but it was magic on the dice, still in the hand, but I could tell it didn't make it to the table. I don't know what it was.
It didn't affect the throw, so the throw was a legit throw.
Throw was a legit throw.
Nice.
So...
That's all Jack needs to know.
Alright.
So.
I drank all of my money, and I slept...
How is
That's alright, Chunk.
That
was my fault.
Everyone heads back to the inn.
What's the clue?
Unless you guys have something specific you want to do, we'll say that that's the end for the night.
Yeah. So because
this is something
we will arrange with Erin a time, probably, since she doesn't know how long it's going to take. She's going to say like 2 or 3 days. She wants to go and meet with this man because she...
Okay. So Erin says that, if you guys are staying at the Chimes, that he'll be around there towards the evening, tomorrow evening if you need him, but he's got stuff to do during the day.
Since I didn't get myself wasted, I would leave early. I'm actually going to go find a jeweler to mess with these dice.
Okay. Now, pretty much no one's going to be open right now, but they'll be open tomorrow. You guys make it back.
You don't even know
Everyone sleeps.